Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm creating some Happy Meal using the Word Buddies from Hello Bluebird as well as my favorite slimline die from Crafty Meraki. So the slimline die that I'm using today is the Bar None Slimline Die. It has been way too long since I used it, but I'm glad that I'm doing it today with a really simple card. But sometimes we just need some simple things in life, and I think this works. So in the Word Buddies Woodland, you have some amazingly cute critters from Hello Bluebird. Now, the raccoon, well, I love it. It's one of those animals that I always need to check out, like look it up online to see how the stripes are and the eyes, are they darker or lighter? I cannot recall it. Each time that I start again with a raccoon, I need to look it up. So, to be honest, I don't like coloring them. But I did it while I wasn't filming, just to have some critters ready if I needed to multiply some cards or if I needed more critters than what I wanted to show you while filming. Well, just testing out some marker combinations. This was one of them and I loved it. It ended up to be the cutest critter of all the ones that I colored. So I wanted to feature them in a card without any other critters, just the raccoons. So that's what I'm doing today. And I'm using these three adorable images. I just prefer this one that I'm coloring right now because it's really cute. You can hang it over something. It has been shown with a lot of words and I love that. But for today I'm not choosing a bigger word or an alphabet die set, so I didn't need it for that. But as you know, the Bar None Slimline Die has all those bars and I just thought it was perfect. So that was the general idea that I had. Now the coloring of these raccoons are exactly the same. I'm just switching up the light source. So I'm sort of doing the shadows following the back of each of the raccoons. So here I have a shadow on the left because there is the back towards. The one that can hang on top of everything, well, it's faced towards us. So I did it on both sides. And then this one will have the shadow on the right because there is the back again. So that was the general idea that I kept in my mind while adding the shadows. So doing some simple Copic coloring, going from darkest to lightest. But if you prefer adding first a soft layer of your lightest and then build up, that's totally fine. Just do whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever you like doing, and whatever gives you the end result that you want. So I'm building up everywhere that I went with my darkest. I am also going with the tone lighter, and that's how I end up coloring everything completely. Then this is Transotype Perfect Coloring Paper, the paper that I use all the time lately to do Copic coloring. Something that I prefer is having at least 2 layers. So that's what I'm doing every time again. But as you can see, I'm doing the same Copic combo for all of these raccoons. I think it's adorable this way. So why would I change it up? Of course, you can always do that. But you know me by now. I think you know that I prefer reusing colors, except when you're making a rainbow card, of course, which we do need to do from time to time because that's just cheery and fun and, well, lovely to make. So again, going over all the areas where I already used darker marker and building back towards the lightest marker. And if I want to, I can always expand my shadows if I thought that previously I didn't add enough. This is the time to add more. And then we can go to the pinks and in the end also the hearts. One of the questions that I get a lot often from European followers here is, where do I buy my Hello Bluebird stamps? Just to, well, I can say that as far as I know, there aren't any retailers in Europe that are selling this brand. So I buy it at Hello Bluebird themselves. I love the brand. If you're now wondering and you're European, or maybe you don't live in the United States and somewhere else, and you also have customs and all those taxes and stuff, yes, I also have those. It's something that well, I want to have this brand, so I have to decide whether to give in to the taxes and all those things as well. So I do that. I know it's a lot, and well, it's a shame that we cannot use it for stems then, but I cannot see myself not buying Hello Bluebird, so I already take it into account when I am ordering. I sort of calculate for myself how much extra cost would it be, and that's how I sort of manage my budget of Hello Bluebird stems. But it's a decision you need to make for yourself. I know I do prefer spending all my money on stems and not on customs and all those things. But well, I'm just one of those people that really, really love Hello Bluebird, and I cannot not buy it. So, decisions. In the meantime, I have colored everything. So I'm going to use the matching dyes, cut everything out, and then onto the background. Now, to make sure that it fit with the color that I chose as my hearts, I decided to take out my swatch book and just put it aside and decided on this Ballet slipper. Of course, this is my favorite colored cardstock ever, also my favorite pink. It's from Concord and Ninth. It's gorgeous. And actually, every time that I am doubting about the cardstock that I can use with something, this one is always the winner. I don't know why. It's just a perfect color. It's soft, but it's visible. It's clearly pink, and I just love it. So the sentiment is from the Meadow Bunnies, also from Hello Bluebird, and I just stamped it out. I used my mini Misty because when I made this card, my new original Misty wasn't delivered yet, but no worries, I have it already and I'm already using it. I love it. I cannot live without it. It was a pain. But I'm glad that I have it replaced now and everything is working and I love it. So I laid out a design to make sure that it was alright, and then I was doubting whether I needed another color to go inside of the bars. You can decide upon ink blending, just to another color, just to white, anything goes. Pen and paper. I have made so many cards already with this slimline die because I love it, I adore it. I can make a card like this with every stem set that I have, or just choose one image, endless possibilities and always gorgeous because of this slimline die. I decided to, well, use just white panels behind it, so not adding any color to keep that pink shining, as well as the details on the balloon and extra hard to really let it pop. So I'm just using some liquid glue to get everything in place. I love how that raccoon is hanging on the bars. I just think it's adorable. Then I'm going to add that final white panel to be able to add the other two raccoons and the details. And you can add many more images. I once made a Christmas card with this slimline die where I used the snowman from Hello Bluebird. It's the same idea, but this one is more minimalized because I'm only using 3 images, but you can add many more if you want to. You can fit it completely, or, well, as I said, just use 1 image. But for these ones are sized so lovely that I didn't want to add only 1. So I'm adding these final 2 using some thin foam squares. I thought that was nice The other one is of course hanging behind it, so there wasn't as much use for the thin foam squares. But for these, it works perfectly fine. Making sure to fill my images as much as possible, also something that I prefer doing, just to prevent that mailing is going to ruin my card. I try to add it as much as possible. This heart is also going to be lifted a bit with some thin foam squares. And then I'm going to add this panel on top of a slimline card base. Now after doing that, I decided to add some more details on top of this card. I'm adding some glossy accents on 2 hearts. And then I will also add some iridescent crystals from Studio Katia on top of this slimline card. Now I said it before, if you ever thought about which embellishment you can use onto your cards, iridescent always goes. These are crystals, there are bubbles, there are hearts, there are stars. Anything you can think of, I think it exists in iridescent. And it's just amazing because depending on how you are twisting or turning your card, it can give you another color. And I love it for that. But also it's really elegant. And this mix from Studio Katia has different sizes, which is a bonus in my opinion, because I really love combining sizes. I think it's adorable, or if you're combining 3 close to each other, you can differentiate in 3 sizes. I think it's genius. So once I'm happy with placements, I'm going to add them using some liquid glue, and then I'm actually not going to add anything more. So that is my final step to creating my end result or my card. And as I said in the beginning, it's a really simple one. It doesn't ask a lot of coloring from you or a lot of embellishments either. You don't need to add these crystals or iridescent or other embellishments, but I just thought that it could add something more. But I also loved it without it, so there are more options than one. I think it's also lovely that you can remake this card in many other color combinations, however you like it, or maybe a rainbow. So I hope that I can inspire you today to get crafting and maybe use a slimline die and some cute small critters. I hope that you like the end result. If you do, you can always give this video a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate that. I hope that you have an amazing day left, and I will be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Bye!